Hello, greetings, salutations, welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the I'll Try That podcast. I'm Matthew Barber. Joining me this week are Richard Drabwell.
Happy Mother's Day, as we are recording on Mother's Day.
How timely. And Joe Druitt.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for tagging along. Tagging along. You guys should be here, really. Thanks
I thought you mean like I'm tagging along.
Yeah, freeloaders. And thanks for joining us, listeners. What is the topic of conversation today? As is kind of normal for us and customary, we are casting our eyes down to Dorset and Outlander beer, or as you may possibly know them, Badger beers. They are our pursuit of hoppiness today, but we'll do a hop topic first, again, as is traditional. And who's going to talk about that? Is it you, Rich?
It is me, yeah. I stumbled across this earlier when I was sitting on a sofa, slightly comatose from eating far too much roast dinner. And, you know, when you're just having a bit of a mindless scroll, and something caught my eye was a story coming out of British Columbia. When
I saw this, I thought, this has to be Canada.
Yeah. And it is the Keg Curling Championships, which is
nice.
for those not familiar with curling, it is basically you're sliding. So what is the material? Is it marble or granite?
Oh, a keg. What? I was thinking steel.
No, curling. The stones.
Curling's on ice.
Normal
stones.
curling. Yeah. They are a type.
Curling's on ice.
What are they made of?
That is niche question.
Stone. It's a stone. It's a type of stone.
I get
Hang
what
on.
kind of stones.
I think you're. I'm typing it in right now.
Yeah.
Let me Google that for you.
Yeah, because it's got to be a certain kind of stone. Granite,
apparently.
Okay, yeah. I'm assuming polished granite then.
It's a special type of granite.
They're the ones who
primarily sourced from Scottish island of Ailsa Crag,
Ailsa, yeah.
With the running band made from blue hone granite and the main body from common green granite.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. You learned something new today. That's non-beer related. 20 kilos.
20 kilos. Yeah.
Well, 19.1.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're quartz free as well.
Ah, that's cool. So basically,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So if you don't know what curling is, basically you're sliding a big polished granite rock along the ice to a target in the middle, and the aim is to get it closest to the centre. And they run along with brooms.
You can knock opponents' stones out the way, can't you?
Knock opponents' stones out of the way, and you can run along with brooms to slow it down. I mean, so it's to create friction to slow the granite stone down. But
for me, that is the image of curling, isn't it?
That is it.
The rushing.
And someone who's let go of the stone, who's just like slides in this posture after they've let go of it for a long time. That's what I picture for curling. And then they shout a lot, and then someone does some brushing when they shout more.
I'm assuming they're just really good at cleaning at home as well, getting stubborn stains off kitchen floors.
You imagine how clean their floors are.
Oh, they'll be unreal. They just go through tiles really quickly, and it's just a constant. They're just having to constantly change.
They have to put granite down on the floors, don't they?
Yeah.
They've never once slipped over in their kitchen though.
Yeah, but so this is the beer keg curling championship. So replace the granite with beer kegs, which I think is quite apt and quite fun.
Wow.
And they still slide them on the ice?
And they're still sliding them on the ice to a target, sort of thing. And they've still got the brooms to give them a good old brush, sort of thing, which I think is quite cool.
I think so. Also, I was curious about this because I was thinking we mentioned 19.1 kilos for one of those curling stones, and I was thinking a keg though is presumably empty when they come to curl it. Apparently about 30 pounds.
Okay.
So that's not far off, is it? I think it's nearly. He's going to do a little bit of conversion at the same time. £30 in kg. I'm sure that's about right. But there's also, I guess you just need something with a certain amount of heft.
Yes.
To make it work, right?
Well, it's got to be a bit harder.
A little bit light.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you've got to keep the keg has got to stay upright, because if it suddenly fell over and started rolling,
it'll just roll forever.
Yeah, spinning in a circle.
Well, I figured they were almost. Nah, that's just silly. I ain't going to say it.
I think they've got to be stood up like normal kegs. But
Yeah,
then actually,
yes.
if you think about the surface area of the kegs, actually it's only the ring, like, where the handles are, basically, because it's not like it's like a flat surface, a keg. It's got like that gap, isn't it?
Yeah, in the video they are stood upright.
Yeah, they're
they?
stood upright, sliding them. Yeah.
I assume they have a low enough centre of gravity that the toppling over just doesn't.
Oh, are they full kegs or are they empty kegs?
They've got to be. They've got to be empty.
They've got to be
Yeah,
empty.
full keg would be. You couldn't move that, could you?
No, yeah. And you can't have it part full either, because if you had a little bit of momentum, it would start sloshing and fall over.
True.
Yeah, have you ever done that where you push like a milk bottle across your like kitchen surface? Mm-hmm. And you like, if you give it a good shove, you see it goes along a little bit, and then the weight moves from the back to the front, and then it has like a little extra burst at the end. I also wouldn't want to stand in front of someone pushing a full keg at me.
You're right.
No, yeah.
On ice.
Especially on ice, yeah, because if you slip a full keg into you, it's gonna do some damage.
Oh, and wipe your legs off.
We've all had nights like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, hit by a full keg.
nights.
Keg nights.
Rich, slip a full keg into me. So, I meant in a drinking sense.
But that's it.
Quick, move on.
Well, there's loads of sports that involve kegs, isn't there? Because you got the keg. People do the keg toss,
I'd
don't
say
they?
loads.
Has this made its way to the Ocho? Because that's when you know you've made it as an obscure
Yes,
sport, when
yeah.
you've made it to the Ocho.
I'm sorry, I've got to come back. No, there is a keg toss, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a keg toss.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you mean the caber toss?
No, keg toss, where they
There
launch
is
it
a
over.
toss,
It's over the back of your head, isn't it?
Yeah, over the back of their heads, over the
But they've
top.
got to get it up high, haven't they? It's like high jump, but for kegs. You've got to
Yeah,
throw it
yeah.
up
Not
over the
necessarily
thing
about the
rather than like distance. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm all for bringing more beer into sport.
Yeah.
So I think
If
like,
you can make it Erdinger, you then can drink at the end.
yeah, like yeah,
Isotonic.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Joe, you did the Medoc Marathon. That involves wine,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah,
It was. I don't think it's on the Surgeon General's health warnings to say go and drink a little wine whilst running a marathon, but you certainly can do it.
yeah. There's beer
There's beer marathons. There's beer miles, aren't they? That
Beer miles.
doesn't look like fun. I must
No.
admit, that doesn't like. A lot of people are doing it. It's getting quite popular, but every single time I've seen it, at least by the fourth or fifth time round, and the amount of booze they've had, everyone looks really unhappy. And it's like that's not a fun sport.
I just can't imagine downing a beer and then going for a run. Well, what did I watched a video earlier? So Krispy Kreme sponsor a 5K where you have to run 2.5 kilometers, then eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, and then run 2.5k
I'd
back.
be
And I'm like,
vomiting before I even started running again.
Well,
I don't know if I get through a dozen donuts. Like, if I'm quite honest, even Krispy Kremes, and they're delicious.
I personally find one of those too sweet.
yeah.
So you give me a dozen, yeah.
But yeah, you see them all squashing them into like one and just eating it, because like some people take it properly seriously.
That's like the Nathan's hot dog tournament. Now that is legit. Like that, there is no half. Like I might give it a go, kind of like competitive in the Nathan's hot dog competition on Coney Island. That is like literal international credited. But like the guy who normally wins it is a guy from Japan. Like that's how popular it is. He's come over and he invented the water dunking method. Have you guys heard about this? The Nathan hot dog eating contest.
Yeah.
He takes the sausage out of the bun, dips the bun in water, and then smushes the watery bread down his mouth, then the sausage, and then goes again. And he doesn't he doesn't chew the sausage, he just swallows them. Like that's his whole technique, and he can get in. And he went. If the average, let's put it this way, if the average like hot dog eating contest winner would like eat like 20 hot dogs, he then jumped that up to like 60 or something. Like it was a dramatic like move up to the point where now that is now the way that people have to do these hot dog eating contests. So everyone's dipping their water in bread, and it doesn't look fun.
You must feel so rotten after 60 hot dogs.
just can't. I couldn't think of anything worse. Like I've given up on anything food challenge related now. I've had my brief foray.
Is this the official announcement that you're retired from your chili eating contest?
Oh, yeah. Look, I can't handle spice anymore. Like, genuinely, I can't do it. After that competition, it makes me physically sick to eat anything remotely spicy now. Just because
How are you going to justify that tattoo on your foot now?
Well, I can't justify any of the tattoos I've recently got in the past. Look, I've gone into the deep end. I got to 34, had no tattoos whatsoever, and in the past 6 months, I now have 8. So it's.
And I must say, Rich, they're getting better and better.
Yeah, have you guys seen the 7-legged octopus I got?
Tentacled, surely.
It's called a sectopus. It's.
What, lost one in a fishing accident or something?
Well, no, there's the 7-legged octopus is called a sectopus, and there's a whole breed of octopus.
Nice, and that's something you've got a close affinity with for the up to this point.
I just thought it looked cool, so
I'm glad you told us what it was before you just started using the septopus, because I'd have just been going, what? Weird segue. Here's a really weird segue. Because you said tattoos. Tattoo shop near me. And to be honest, I always find it a little bit weird. People I don't know, because I don't have any, I don't know when is a normal time of day to have a tattoo. But I always seem to see people there. I go past various times a day. It always just seems like an odd time of day to get a tattoo. Like 5:30 p.m. like after work. Cheeky after work tattoo.
Yeah, but you got to fit it in. If these people are working, they've got to fit it in at times, haven't they?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But I don't know. To me, it's a morning thing. You'd get it done in the morning.
Well, take a half
rest of the day to get it done.
Well, it depends how big the tattoo is.
That's true.
Like some of them only take like an hour. Some of them. My latest one took 20 minutes. The chili took 5 minutes, and you can tell.
Sorry, there's another weird bit to this, and it sounds like I'm really going to build this up badly. Next to the tattoo place, there's also, I don't know, I just find this description really weird. I can't remember the name of the establishment, but it's called it's got its name, and it looks quite fancy from outside. But it's a piercing place, and it says the name, and it goes Luxury Piercing.
Ooh.
And a bit like
you get
premium
fans
lager
whilst you're getting stabbed.
I just again, I don't have any piercings, but if I was, I think I would be taken in by that because yes. I don't want value piercings.
It does make you feel like more comfort, which is what you want when you're getting pierced.
Yeah, I get that.
We will look after you.
Yeah, we should probably talk about beer now.
Yeah, I suppose.
I guess I could close that off. And I'm surprised you haven't got some sort of podcast-related tattoo now, Drabs.
Tattoo.
You've got to be getting if you've got space for a sectopulate,
a foaming pint of Timothy Taylor's perhaps on your chest.
Yes, Barbs. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. And also, let's open up to the comments. Let people know from the comments. Let people know what you should get next. They should message you.
Trust me, I'm kind of up for anything at the moment. My next tattoo idea is slightly out there, so we'll
go on.
It's a dog saying "Don't trust me." So
that is a bit out there
because dogs can't talk.
No, dogs can't talk notoriously. Yeah, I've already got a greyhound on my ankle shouting problems, so it's just.
Fair. You're right. We should talk about beer.
We should talk about beer.
Outland. What do we know about Outland or Badger?
Well, we know about Badger.
We know Badger Brewery. We don't.
I suppose that's an interesting point.
Independently owned Dorset-based brewery that's very close to Rich's location and heart.
Yep. I do love. It was one of the first ales I tried when I moved down here. I think it's Frosty Ferret. Is a Badger Brewery in one of their pubs called the Smugglers, which used to be our local. And I remember we did a whole thing because Simo was back on it then, but we were talking about all the folklore. It was still in lockdown when we tried it, I think.
We were, yeah. It was early days.
Early days of it all.
I think it was when I wasn't even on.
Yeah,
They've redesigned the core range. Have you seen the new redesign of the core range?
Yeah, I must say I don't love it. And I don't normally have a particularly strong feeling about the labels in particular. But I just remember thinking
They've
before
lost
they were
something,
quite
haven't they?
eye-catching. Yeah, they were a bit more individual now. They're a little bit... homogenous isn't really the correct word.
I like
right.
that they've gone more about the characters. So I like that they've really dialed up the personality of the characters. So like the first default one is all about like he's like a robber basically, right? You know, he's got a rope over his arm.
Yeah.
He's got kind of black clothing
Swag.
on. They've got the stout that's got like a stout animal. He's got coffee. He's wearing a coffee. He's holding a coffee pot. There's just a little bit more of extra fun in all these characters. And they've gone bold with the colours so that it feels very like you could tell, oh, I like my orange one, which is the Thirsty Pharaoh. I like the peach one, which is the Golden Glory, peach ale. So I get it, but I'm with you. It feels just a bit, not sure.
I
The
quite
hopping
like
hare
them.
is the hopping hare is a hare and not a kangaroo. I should clarify as well because
True, it's got boxing gloves, which makes me think kangaroo, but then I'm just stereotyping now.
it's
I
weird
think-
though.
I like what they've
Hold on.
I like that they've done it. Like, let's put it this way. I like that they've done something. It's better than not doing anything to their core range, right? Because most breweries could just leave their core range. People just buy it, they buy it, whatever. But actually, I like that they have looked at it.
But I think I quite like the change, but I think that they need to get. I think they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, which is just to get them to try the beer, and then the beer speaks for itself through and through. Because it is
definitely going for a younger audience.
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenally brewed beer, and I'm a big fan of.
So
I'm a big fan of all of it, sort of thing. So I can see exactly where they're going from. Is you need to expand, you need to grow, and you need to get that younger audience in, because there's only so many Matt Barbers in the world who are going to drink old man beer, sort of thing. You need to open it up a bit. And I'm not the biggest fan of old man beer.
Yeah, but if they are going for the younger audience, right? They're doing it with the graphics, but structurally they're still in the same big, massive bottles, which is old man beer territory, isn't it? I can't see your Gen Z picking these up, and hanging out in the park with these massive bottles. They want cans, if they're drinking beer, they want cans of it. So I like that they've got
the acceptable face of the old man beer, which I hope is also old man beer is a nickname. I hope.
I guess this is my point. I think it's kind of these core beers are kind of stuck in a bit of a halfway house. They don't really know what they're about. In the fact that you're right, the beer speaks for itself. It's bloody incredible. But actually, because they're in those big bottles, you almost want a more, not traditional, but a more premium feeling label.
Yeah, I get that.
And these feel more too juniored, like they don't feel as premium as they did. And this is what I'm lamenting. It's not the fact that they've done the change, it's the fact that the change feels less, it feels more value than it did before. Because you'd be paying a premium for these glass bottles, you will be. Compared to the cans, you'd be paying more for them. So, in my opinion, I think you just I don't know. I'd want a bit more craft on the labels, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I think the other thing is then, are they, because we've been sent their latest beer that they're putting out at the moment, the Outland selection of beers.
Talk to us about the Outland beers. What do you know about the Outland beers?
So they're kind of their subsection of the Badger Brewery sort of thing. They're brewed by the Badger Brewery, but they are their slightly more modern take on classic beers, I suppose would be the way to take it. So they've got a few different flavours. I tried them. First time I tried them was a couple of years back. I think it was a couple of years back. I was at Rock and Ribs Festival, and there was a woman was pushing. Can you remember? You've got the bicycles that have like the ice cream things on the front.
Yes.
So the ice cream boxes on the front, and it's connected to a bicycle. And she was biking around, and I saw a massive queue to the beer tent. I was like, this queue. I said to my mate at the time, I was like, this queue's too long, sort of thing. Then out of nowhere, this woman appeared on a beer bike and was like, I'm selling beer out of here. I was like, well, this is fantastic.
This is brilliant. My knight in shining armour just arrived.
Yeah. And she was like, we're selling Outland beers. And I was like, how much? And she was like, 3 for a tenner. I was like, even better, because you're at a festival and you want your bang for your buck.
Yes.
Sort of thing. So three cans for 10. And for love nor money, can I remember what the beer was? But I remember it being an Outland beer because I remember the can and I remember the design and and I remember enjoying it because I kept hunting this beer bike down. 1, because it was shorter queues, 2, because it was cheaper, and 3, because it was actually really nice beer that I was drinking at the time. So I know they've been around for a few years, and I know they've been pushing to get a little bit more. They kind of remind me of them. We've got what's the brewery that has the other kind of experimental beer that we really like?
It's Stewart Brewery, and it's
Stewart
the Pilot Brewery.
And the Pilot Brewery sort of thing. It reminds me a little bit of that sort of thing where they've got their core range. They've got their
Series 7, I think it was. Is that the one?
Series 7, yeah.
White Affogato, those
White Affogato and all that sort of stuff. But so they've got their core range of really good, solid beers that they hit the pubs with and all this sort of stuff. But they've got their Outland section where they're kind of pushing the boat out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Trying
it gives
a few
them
more
license to
fruity
show
flavours.
up in different places. Like they get to ride around on ice cream, beer bikes, at festivals and stuff. Which maybe Badger Brewery in their core range couldn't do that. Who knows? But it's cool. I like it. I like this Outland Brewery. I mean, I must admit, I when I first saw it, realised it was Badger Brewery, and I thought, why are they trying to divide their customer base between Badger Brewery and an Outland Brewery? But actually, the logic makes sense that you're when you speak to different types of audiences, and also you allow your brand to show up in different ways. You get to have your more traditional brews like the Thirsty Ferret. They've got more established, let's put it that way, not traditional, but they're more established, and they show up and go to these pubs. They go to these maybe they don't even come to events. They're just there. Whereas Outland, you get to show up in more interesting and experimental ways. In experiences and things.
That's it, and I think their marketing is that it's a bit more edgy, it's a bit more clean cut sort of thing. They've kind of going for a bit more modern take on with their cans and all of this. I really enjoy the cans. I think this one it's waves and the sea going out sort of thing.
Is it the West Coast IPA or is it the tropical
pale ale?
Yes,
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed the can design of the tropical pale ale. It's very cool.
Yeah, and they all seem to be, a couple of them, I'm just looking now, the West Coast is bark by the looks of it on their can, a couple of other based around trees by the looks of it. The hazy IPA seems to be leaves and all of this sort of stuff. So I still think they're sticking to their kind of their roots of it being in the woods, the forests, in the countryside and everything like that. But they've put their own kind of modern hip take on it, which I'm really there for.
I had not identified, I think I mentioned to you off the air earlier on, there's a ginger pale ale, which I'd really like to try. But I think I like ginger beer. That might not be... you can't always assume that because you like certain ingredients that it's going to be exactly what you're looking for. It could be that, they describe it as hazy, spicy and sweet. Might not end up being what you think it is, really. That does happen. We've had experience of that with other beers in the past, haven't we? Cucumber beer, for instance.
Yes. That was not good.
No.
But it's well rated. It's the Outland Ginger Pale Ale won England's 2024 World Beer Awards, England Gold and Country winner, flavoured beer. And it won the 2023 England Gold winner for the flavoured beer category. So it's well rated.
That's good. So I'm just reading the Outland beers, kind of their a brief description of it goes. We're badgers, not sheep. You'll find us on our path. Our own path, exploring our surroundings, hunting out flavours and uncovering hidden secrets to bring you a characterful collection of craft beers. Which I quite like the description. We're badgers, not sheep.
Yeah, that's cool. So they go into it a bit more on this. Outland obviously being like a kind of a spin-off of Badger, like they're playing off that Badger-esque. This tropical pale ale is brand new, like it's just hit the shelves in Sainsbury's, Tesco's and Waitrose nationwide from March onwards, so it's only just arrived in stores, so definitely go check it out. And if you want to go and get your own beers from the store, you can go order before May 25th, which is over a couple of months away. Save 25% on all Outland beers with your exclusive code Tropic25 at outlandbeers.com. So definitely worth hitting that up for our listeners if you go and fit that in, because that would be well worth giving it a go, the Tropical Pale Ale. I must admit, I did tell the boys before I came on that I had four on Friday night. I didn't feel so great afterwards. So for me personally, it was more like the sweetness of it all. I don't really get on with too many sweet beers, so I think 2 would have been a really nice palatable amount for me in one sitting. 4, I really pushed the boat out on that one. But that was my personal preference on that one.
Well, saying I've been really enjoying them. We got given them a few days back, and I've already gone through six or seven of them, sort of thing. Just because they went with the description is to go with. Was it coconut curry, Joe? The description we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it needs to go with a coconut prawn curry and green mango salad to fully round out the experience.
I was saying, because I had some mango and coconut chicken, and it really hit the spot with that. So yeah, definitely get something with a punch in it.
So they're quite keen. It does. It's very tasty. It does definitely do what it says on the tin. A tropical pale ale. It feels very juicy, very vibrant. It feels very fruity for what it's doing, and I think it's definitely giving out those summer vibes, making me feel all the better for drinking it today whilst the sun's been out on Mothering Sunday. It's been lovely.
Well, that's it. It would be drinking this on a beach. It's quite light as well, which is quite nice to get from the pale ale. So definitely sipping this in the sun is definitely the way to go forwards, and I'll definitely pick some more up for summertime. Barbecue. It would go well with a barbecue.
I just thinking about this, and to be honest, because I am actually yet to taste, because I've not had the cans yet, but I wonder, is this also potentially is the market getting a little bit saturated? This seems to be the direction a few have gone in, and I any reason to bring them up, but do you remember can you think of any other beers that maybe did really outstanding ale or old man beers and then went in a kind of tropical hop forward option that was a little more crafty? Think of anyone else who's done that? Stiff competition from another brewery.
Oh yeah, good old Timothy Taylor's.
They did it, didn't they?
something Storm.
Hopical Storm, I think.
Tropical Storm.
That was the one.
Storm,
Yeah. Hopical Storm. Yeah.
I'm sure there's
the most
3
or
buff,
4
others.
Guys who were selling it at the at that trade show we went to.
Yeah, they were enormous.
The beer festival. They were very muscular.
I'm sure there's 3 or 4 other breweries that have also gone tropical. We'll have hints of mango, we'll have a little pineapple-y sort of flavour, or
it's a really popular area to go down, especially for
passion fruit. Yeah.
It is interesting though. I do find like the balance of like it tastes great but also doesn't feel too sweet. That's always a fine line to walk, isn't it? I felt that with the Hopical Storm as well. Like it was a nice refreshing beer, but actually if I'd have drunken more than a couple, I probably would have been feeling a bit like I could have done with something else afterwards.
Is that still going on there, Hopical Storm? Because I've not seen it anywhere.
I have seen it in a couple of places, but not widespread.
Thing is, the retail scene is really, really hard for brewers. If they're not like selling huge volumes in these in the supermarkets, then the supermarkets just delist them quite quickly. Because there's always someone else ready, a new hot and coming thing. It's why like the rise of Jubel and their peach flavoured beers. Now everyone's doing a peach beer. I don't know if you've seen this trend. Everyone's got a peach lager. Even Outlander have a peach based lager now. And it's like, and it's all to do with Jubel, because they've done so great. But their sales keep getting better and better. But it's like, as the original guys who did the Demi Pesh, but it's like, it's hard. It's hard trading out there right now for brewers. For sure. So I can see why these more established brewers are like doing these spin-off like breweries and their new like ranges of beers as well.
Yeah, I get it. It works. Like people are looking for change, people are looking for different, and the market is bigger and bigger. So I'm always there for it.
I think when I said before, obvious, Tiny Rebel Club Tropica.
Yes.
Beavertown with the other one I was trying to think of and couldn't. Sun God, I think, is their tropical.
No, I don't think I've had that one.
Are you guys? Because I'm gonna. My cards on the table. I am not familiar enough with these to say I could go. This was a really good tropical one. But I mean, do you think? How do we think this one compares? And do we think the others stand out particularly? Because also, actually, I think if I'm being completely honest, I was never that mad about the Tiny Rebel one.
I thought the Tiny Rebel
hugely
one was very
beer,
sickly. But then they weren't really catering to my palate. Like, I really appreciated Tiny Rebel for what they were and what they were bringing to the scene, you know, in Wales. But they were never I was never their target audience, let's put it that way, for their beers. You know, the flavour profiles were always way too sweet for me, and this for me feels too sweet. I'd love to try some of the other beers, like the Outland West Coast IPA that won the 2024 bronze award for the IPA category. I'd love to try that because that feels right up my street. A West Coast IPA, yes please. Let me go for that a go.
So I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it because I don't think it is, because I can't have. I've very much gone off sweet stuff in general, sort of thing. Since being diabetic, I've cut back a lot on all sweet stuff, so I just don't really have the appeal or the draw to it, sort of thing. And I found this quite mellow. It was a nice wave. It was a nice hit, sort of thing, and I didn't find it too much. And I quite enjoyed having a couple of cans over dinner. Gave some to my mate Nathan. We sat there and just sipped it quite nicely, sort of thing. It goes down well, goes down easy. I'm a big fan of it, but I am a big fan of Badger Brewery as well. So I kind of like the beer and the aesthetic that they go for.
Yeah, definitely. I think it looks great. I mean, looking at their website as well, I don't know if you've been over there, Travis, but the brewery tap room looks really fun. It looks like get it straight from the source. If I'm honest, like I'd love to try more of their Outland beers because they look brilliant, and this one is clearly made very well. It's just not my flavour profile, with it being too tropical, too sugary or too kind of sweet for me. But all the other ones look really brilliant. I'd love to try those. And as we know, the core beers that we've had, like the Thirsty Ferrets, I've had the Red Rascal before, I think, as well. And the other one, what was it? Tanglefoot. Now, those ones were brilliant. Absolutely love that. So, yeah, I've got no problem with those as well. And I can confirm that they have now made, maybe with this new redesign, you don't just have to buy those core beers in those big bottles. You can get them in cans now as well. So they've obviously, which is really cool. I didn't, not many of those breweries are doing that with their traditional, their more established beers and moving them into cans, are they? So that's cool that they're doing it.
As this session has progressed, it has just made me go, I need to go and just have some of those classic Badger beers because I like them so much.
Yeah, they are really good.
But they're clearly pushing Outland, a lot as well. Like all the materials we got sent, and what an amazing package opening that was. That big box, Rich. Do you want to describe what happened when you opened that?
Oh, yeah. So popped that box open and was greeted by many palm leaves, a couple of, is it leis, the coloured flower necklaces?
Yeah.
Is it a lei?
Word, but I don't know what it is.
I know that's French
what you mean, though, but like the flower like necklaces.
Yeah, the flower necklace. I'm pretty sure they're called leis, sort of thing. Some sunglasses. There was a little pineapple cocktail stick poking out there. Yeah, some couple of multicoloured shades. Some fantastically blue and yellow colourful packaging paper, greeted by 12 beers and a couple of glasses, sort of thing. I was like, out of all the promo packs we've received for various beers and everything like this one was by far the best we've received. The packaging and everything was absolutely top tier.
Yeah, they've done a good job with that for sure. I really enjoyed it as well. The only one it made me think of, I think of the best one, I didn't actually receive it, was when Barbara had that one where he had to make some sort of cheese dish. That seemed like fun.
Oh, yeah.
The Budvar one.
Yeah, Budvar.
Yeah, like grilled cheese. The idea was you had to do it with, like a flame torch. And then I think it was just with a blob of mustard and a shallot, and then you pour a bit of beer foam over it.
Brilliant. But yeah, they definitely transported me, these Outland Tropical Pale Ale like promo pack. Definitely transported me into that, giving that summer vibes immediately. So they definitely nailed it for what they were going for, and all the useful information that they provided with it as well is always great when you get to talk about it. So if you are doing any kind of content on Outland, make sure you tag Outland Beers on Instagram and use the hashtag Far From Mordinary, which is brilliant. Mordinary, where's that come from? Far from ordinary. I was reading it wrong. I was like, they invented a word. What is mordinary? It's like, no, it's far from ordinary.
Ordinary. Far from... I'm a fan. I like that. Far from ordinary.
A lot of companies try and use hashtags wrong, and they try and invent words. It's like, don't do that. Like, just keep it simple. You know, people aren't going to use made up words.
They know about Sheeran album party then.
Oh yeah. But if Badger,
Penn Island.
Penn Island, yeah.
Honourable mention, because I didn't have the beer. Arbor. Talus in Wonderland. I am brought to you by this time.
Love it. So definitely check out outlandbeers.com. Use the promo code Tropic5, 25 I should say. Get your tropical pale ales, because it was good. It was really, I really enjoyed it. And Rich is obviously a massive fan for natural reasons, and really the quality of the beer is up there. It's really, really good. So Barbara's obviously going to be looking forward to getting to the office and picking you up opening up that promo pack and
being open-minded and not an old man beer enthusiast.
Yeah. I also think if this isn't for you, genuinely try all the other Badger beers, because they are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
They're a beautiful selection of beer, and their pubs are in really nice locations as well, and all of this sort of stuff. And just the beer is absolutely top tier. Try Fusty Ferret. I think I can never pronounce it correctly, but it's a ferret. The ferret beer, absolutely top tier.